Hey guys,
Hey, hey,
how you
hey.
doing? Happy Saturday to everybody.
Wow.
Krista, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. I've had a good day today. It's crappy weather, but it's been a great day.
You know, it is terrible weather the last couple days. It's just been cloudy, gloomy, rainy, cold,
Yep.
and barely getting into the 40s today. And last Monday it was almost 80 here.
Yeah, it was. It was
Yeah.
crazy. But it is Missouri, and that's what happens in Missouri.
Yeah. Wait 5 minutes and then it'll change.
It'll change.
The weather will change. I've had a headache all day, and I think I've just been excited about tonight.
Yep.
I don't know. Just hoping tonight would hurry up and get here. But yeah, guys, we got a great show for you tonight. Sir Bryan Bowden and Ron Murphy are backstage right now. They will be up here in just a few minutes. Looking forward to a neat conversation with them. BJ says it's 80 there.
Want to trade for one day? Heck yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Spring training starts, I believe, next week.
There you go.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Before
Let's get the Super Bowl over first before we worry about spring training. Just saying.
So I have to ask, I know who you want to win. Do you have a score in mind for tomorrow?
Oh, can I tell you that on Donny Cho Says Stuff? I'll tell you that on that show.
There's a tease for you. Make sure you tune in at 8:30 over on Donny Cho Says Stuff. We're all going to be on there talking Super Bowl, and it is going to be a riot, I think. So,
yeah.
But we know who Krista wants to win, and I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Third time, baby.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Before we get our guest out, we have a conference coming up, don't we?
We do. And you know what? You should just bring them up because they're speakers at our conference. Just saying.
Okay.
Wow.
Hi, guys. Surprise. Hi, guys. How you doing today?
We're good.
Thanks for coming on. And hey, I can't wait for this concert. I keep calling it a concert.
I know you called it backstage with me a concert. No, we're not having a concert.
Wait a minute. Tex did say something about karaoke.
That's karaoke. So, that's different than a concert.
Have you heard me sing?
I was going to present with an acoustic guitar and a harmonica, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Tell me you're wearing a turtleneck as well.
Yes, I do an interpretive dance of Bigfoot.
There you go.
Oh,
I actually have the video I made, the promo thing that I sent you. It's ready. If you want me to to present it.
Actually, yes. You know what? And I tried to download it onto my StreamYard, and we can talk about this another time. But it's not an MP4. It wouldn't go on StreamYard.
I'll convert it, and then I'll send it back to you again.
Thank you.
So I'm sharing it right now. You just tell me when, if it comes up.
But before we do this, I have the most supportive wife ever. She is in chat. Oh no, it's not. Oh wait, she did say it. Look at that. You don't want to hear Paul sing. Thank you, honey.
Hey, at least he listens.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
She runs when I sing. Really.
You know what? We don't even have to talk about, or you don't even have to say the speakers, because I don't think you've seen Brian's video, Paul.
I have not. So let's.
I just shared it to you. So just tell me when, and then I'll press play, and then we'll go from there.
I will tell you this about Bryan real quick here. So, as someone that's been in the field for a long time and, writing and things like that, it requires an artistic flair in order to get your point across. And I will tell you, undyingly, Bryan has been the most supportive person whenever it comes to me with my books. He designs them, he puts them all together, he formats them. Without Bryan, and I tell you this truly, I don't think I'll probably even be on the show with you guys, because you can put out ideas, but you really have to have that selling point, right? And Bryan does indeed do that selling point. So I know I haven't seen the video yet, but I know what I'm going to be seeing, and it's going to be awesome.
Oh, I'm always telling people about marketing. So, there's different ways to do it. And I also looked out because there was something I came across in Florida. If you're a psychic or a tarot reader or whatever it is, you have to be licensed. You have to get out licensing or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I saw a list of states and I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
So I just want to make sure everybody's protected because I want this event to continue going for decades.
Absolutely.
It's going to be like nothing like the Walker coming on stage.
That's funny. Yeah,
I just saw dead uncle,
All right. Let's get this. Let's play this. I'm going to edit right here.
Yep.
Okay.
So you ready?
Ready.
Make sure it's coming in loud and clear. And here we go. Not that long. It's a minute and change. I think that's it.
That was awesome.
Yep. So
Good.
I'll stop sharing now. But we have to put one more because there was an announcement. We'll put them. I actually put it in just so everybody knows. I put it in the order I received it, so I didn't have a hierarchy of order. But the ladies always go first, so that's how it was.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you. We've added Martin Groves, and as soon as Jason gets that one finished, then I'll send you Martin's.
Awesome.
Too, yeah, and I was just given the go ahead last night. I can keep going until the end of March to add people. So just saying.
So guys, it's a star-studded lineup.
Yep.
It's not done yet.
Nope.
So
no, why not?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be fun. Get your tickets. Get your tickets at Eventbrite now.
Yep. And Magical Journey Podcast asked, where's it at again? It's in Richmond, Missouri, which is actually it is just outside of Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah. Yeah.
Barbecue ribs.
Barbecue ribs.
Yes. Kansas City barbecue. It's world famous.
I just had a turkey sandwich, so I'm looking forward. That sounds really good right now, actually. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for spending your Saturday with us. I certainly appreciate you guys coming on. And Ron, it's very nice meeting you. I've heard so much good things about you.
I appreciate it. Like you said, it's fun to be here with you guys, and I'm looking to meet everybody in person as well too. And I am already salivating about the ribs as well too. So,
well, you guys are coming in on Thursday night, right? Because on Thursday night. Just saying.
100%. I may be there Wednesday night and just be able to sleep a little bit
on Wednesday night. That's fine. I think I'm actually going to go Tuesday night.
Wow, nice, nice.
Must be buy one get one at the bar, huh?
Well, some of my besties, they live over that way, so I'm going to go hang out for a day.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it's a nice, easy drive for us down 70. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm going to be driving up from Florida.
Yeah.
and trying to get the bail bonds as we go into Missouri.
Ron, how far of a drive is it for you?
You know what? I've been to St. Louis before, and St. Louis from me is probably about 11 hours. So how much farther are we from St. Louis?
3 hours.
I would say that not a bad deal then at all. Not a bad deal. So yeah, depending upon what the schedule's looking like, I too might come in a day early because I would really like to see Kansas City play baseball. Are those tickets pretty readily available?
I don't think they're that good, so I think they could be good tickets.
Nice.
So it begins. Yes. Well, that would be nice. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome all our dead fans.
Thank you so much, T-Bone. Appreciate you.
Yes, thank you, T-Bone.
Yes. So
yeah, the cool thing that I like about this conference, though, is that you do have such a wide range of interests. So people coming to these conferences, because I do a lot of conferences, and sometimes you do just like a Bigfoot conference where it's all about Bigfoot all the time, or UFOs, and some people just that's not in their powerhouse or whatever. And this allows people, if you are casually interested in the paranormal, or if you're deeply interested in things that go bump in the night, whatever the case may be, this is a conference where me as a spectator would love to come to, because you kind of get that all-purpose umbrella of so many different topics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like that.
I for one, this will be my first concert. I keep calling it conference. My first conference, and I just helping host it. It's going to be fun. One thing, but just hearing all of these wonderful speakers that we have, I plan on learning so much from everybody there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the whole point, because we don't. Our shows don't just concentrate on Bigfoot or just ghosts, so, we're open to everything, all the way to metaphysics, whatever, it doesn't matter. So if it's weird, let's talk about it. And so that was the whole purpose of this conference.
Well, that's a great point there, Kristen. Let me just piggyback on that for a second. So, in the paranormal, you see that there is a lot of interconnectivity and there's a lot of gray areas, and you have to make connections, because this does not exist in a void. Ghosts and Bigfoot and Dogman and, like you said, metaphysical, all these kind of things are intertwined. Yep. And I think these kind of conferences allow you, not only as a researcher, but as somebody there to experience this as well, too, to listen to what's going on. It allows you to kind of form an overall view of what's going on, approach.
Yep, absolutely. And that's the thing, too. Also, we're doing it. Part of it, is a fundraiser also for the Ray County Museum, and it's all about history and things like that. And without history, like it or not, it's history, and we have to do what we can do to preserve these places. And so, we're doing our part, to help with the Ray County Museum as well. So, yep.
Sure,
what has Bryan got going on? He got something going on there.
Wasn't sure if he was showing us something or
right.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. Yeah. I didn't know if he reached over onto his OnlyFans or what was going on there.
Right.
He's back. And you're muted.
You're muted, Bryan.
You're muted, Bryan. You're muted.
There he is.
Must be the. So, for some reason, the computer.
Can't hear you.
There. Is this your first podcast?
I'm working on it.
That's funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bowden.
Yeah.
He's new to,
Tell me about it.
he's new to this, yeah.
Yeah.
I am, a little bit.
Guys, let's start out tonight. You guys you're working on a book together, and
Paul, it's so interesting that you brought the topic of this book out. So we've been working on this, and this is no exaggeration. This is a work that has been in development probably for 5 or 6 years. This is a work that we had talked about for a while, about looking at possible extraterrestrial contact with the Americas during, pre-Columbian contact. And it wasn't dealing with like the Aztec or the Inca or the the Olmec cultures, which a lot of people deal with. This was a collection of essays that were written that looked at possible extraterrestrial contact with the mound builders culture, which a lot of people don't talk about. So this isn't one of those things where we're looking at stelas and we're looking at petroglyphs and things like that, although we do mention these things. But we're looking at the folklore, well, not so much the folklore, we'll say the mythology of these different cultures, and look at also some of the artifacts left behind that seem to point to something that is otherworldly. But again, like I said, we always allow the reader to decide for themselves what kind of conclusions they draw. But we look at the Hopewellian culture, the Adena culture, and the Mississippian culture, and we cover a few thousand years. And like I said, Brian and I have been working on this for a while. But
it's my fault.
No, it's not anybody's fault. I mean, we were dealing with this too over COVID, and my father passed away during COVID. So this has been in development for a while. And writing a book is not easy. No matter what anybody says. And we are also, researchers, so we don't employ AI to write books for us. So a lot of this is going through, contextually through manuscripts and things like that, trying to find. And I was lucky enough that in graduate school I studied history, and a lot of the history that I was focusing on was the anthropology of Native American Indians. So I visited almost all these sites that we talk about. I was able to do some measurements and some sort of calculations there as well too, regarding to astronomical alignments. And so I think that this is, and I'm glad it's probably taken this long, because it's a lot of work to congeal into one source to make it easily digestible for people at large. So I think that we did a job at making this entertaining as well.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of components in the, we're talking about a lot of hypothesis, trying to connect some dots, but like Ron says, everybody has their own opinion of these things, and we're just trying to give you something to think about. So, and with the way Ron is the quintessential writer, I mean, I've read his books. Sometimes they're really up there, and this is not one of those where you're just gonna slowly go back and read it. Sometimes you got to use your brain with this one, but he has this cadence with his writing that it's very poetic. It's really, really great. I mean, the phrasing and everything, and what's good is you get two different perspectives.
Sure.
So yeah,
I look forward to it. So I really, truly do hope you guys have it finished by the conference, and because I'm bringing some extra books, man. When I go to conferences, I buy a lot of books, but I like them personalized. So I don't want to buy a book online. I'm sorry. I want it right there where you guys can sign it. I like all my stuff personalized. So
yeah, I agree with that. There's something to be said about that, because I also don't buy ebooks or anything like that, even though I offer them for sale. But a lot of people do like that stuff. But I need to have that feeling in my hand of the weight of the book, to be able to turn pages back and forth, and it becomes like an old friend. You put it up there, and sometimes you have to go back and ask your friend a question about something, or clarify this or clarify that. And before I had kids, I always thought, I'll keep all the books that I've ever bought for school and put them into a library. Now I still have a library, but now everything is right at your fingertips. But there's something to be said about going to a bookcase and searching for that book and finding what you need. There's something very special and magical about that too. There's an alchemy involved whenever you go and find this information yourself, and then you're able to incorporate that into your own thoughts and in your own words and your own research. So
Absolutely.
The dog
After I had
earring
my,
of the page, right?
Yep.
After I had my knee replacement, I told myself that I'm not going to sit and watch TV while I recover. I'm gonna read more books and stuff. And so a friend of mine suggested this a library app. I think it's called Libby. So I rented a ton of books, and I think I was reading like 4 books a month. And yeah, I got to the point where, you know what, reading it on my phone is okay, but yeah, I miss the having the book. Hey, look, it's Rob's book.
Yeah.
I miss having that book
bigger.
and feeling and smelling it and everything. So yeah,
I agree.
I mean,
I agree.
I love books, and I love them personalized as well.
Me too.
There's something about it because there's a connection there because we're connected, whatever. And I'll personalize, whatever book I have. I always, write to people. I try to get a select message for people I know, and something good.
Sure.
But
If it's
I've never got
sometimes we give phone numbers, things like
Yes,
that.
whatever works. Whatever works.
Yeah.
I have done a lot of Ron's books, but I never received one of Ron's books whatsoever. So
Oh, right.
I'm gonna go
Yeah,
pick up my Ron Murphy collection when I get down there.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Yeah.
No, it's what like Paul, like what you were saying. Once you start reading one and then you read another, you build up. It's like a muscle.
Sure.
And you start bang, boom, boom. You're banging them out. Way back in the day, they had that. Remember the speed reading, Kevin Trudeau's speed reading.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff.
And for a while I got away from reading, and I'm just getting back to it with Rob's books and a couple other ones that I have, and I'm like, man, this is great.
See, I binge read. I am one of those people, though. I don't want to come back tomorrow. I'll start early, like on a Saturday when I know I have nothing to do but eat and go to the bathroom. That's it. And I'll read a book all day long and I'll finish it.
Ron and I did a show. The first guest of our show was Steve Alton, and he's the author of Meg, and he's a faction. So he pretty much took the torch from Michael Crichton. He loved that when Ron said, "Well, you're the new Michael Crichton," and this guy was like, but like Michael Crichton's books were great. I just kept reading and reading. I didn't want to put it down. Even the Harry Potter series was just like everybody was waiting for the thicker because they don't want it to end. Yeah. It's good stuff. Ghost read, by the way.
Yeah.
How close is it to being done?
It's actually very, very close.
Yeah. It's done.
I just got
simply compiling it.
A little accoutrements to it. Little touches here and there. I'm adding a couple things in. And then it's a cover, and then I give it back to Ron, and he does the editing because I can't edit for whatever. I just don't edit. I mean, I could see other people's mistakes, but not mine. And no, I've I've been published several different times in different forms, like poetry, whatever. Sure. And one of my friends that edits for me goes, "The E is so silent, you don't even include it." So, yeah, I don't include it. But Ron has that all down, and we're just gonna publish it, and next thing you know, we're gonna have people optioning the movie.
There you go. Well, I'm definitely buying one from you guys.
Yeah, I know 2 people that are gonna be buying it. So
yeah,
I appreciate that.
Both be there. We'll autograph it both. It's gonna be great.
Awesome.
And we're giving out hugs too. Just remember
for
that.
sure.
Oh yeah. Yes, that's right. We forgot to tell you. So we're starting our own little kind of side business where we are now going to, I guess, Brian, you're going to call us what? Professional huggers now? Is that what the thing is?
Yes, we are.
Oh,
we are professional huggers now.
Yeah. And what we do basically is we approach the subject, the client, and we embrace them. Now, of course, this is consensual. We embrace them, and after 20 seconds, the endorphins start to release and they feel so much better. So basically, Brian and I are going to be a new form of drug dealers, and the drug we are peddling are endorphins.
Hugs. From hugs.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And maybe don't call them subjects, call them clients.
Yeah. Well, we had to call them subjects when we were working out all the bugs and all this kind of stuff because we had to have some tests. Some testing
Next
going
victim.
on.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny. Hug dealers, like Tex says, hug dealers.
Hug deal.
Hug dealers.
That's right,
That's
hug
it.
dealers. That's right.
I need
Brian
my
wants his
fix.
shirts up that says hug dealers. Shirts that
hug
say hug
dealers.
dealers.
Hug
Yeah,
dealers.
There you go.
that's right.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah, you guys are great, both of you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys this fall. I guess it'd be fall time when that comes around. So
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. We have good chemistry together. You know, we have met each other several times. You know, we've even done a TV show together before. So
Yes.
Brian and I have been friends for years. But I think that whenever we get together, our chemistry is even much more easygoing than it is here because we are truly friends with each other.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, it sounds like me and Brandy are going to have our table by you guys because you guys are going to be fun.
Mhm.
This is where the fun side is. That's exactly right.
But
This is the
if-
fun section.
Yeah, I'm gonna warn you. If Ron and I start drinking rum, we may start taking over other tables. I'm just gonna throw it out at you.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Real quick, thank you, JoJo, for the super sticker.
Oh yeah,
Thank you, Josh. My first member. Appreciate you, Josh.
It's
Wow,
4 months,
nice,
and
nice,
then
nice.
good job, Josh.
and then gifting 5 more. I appreciate you, Josh. Thank
Wow,
you so
thank
much.
you.
Steph was awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Coco was awesome.
And Scott did too. Did you get Scott?
Yeah, I got Scott. I got Scott.
Yep.
I got that. That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
This is
Appreciate
great.
you guys very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot where I was going to ask. And Kelly, wow,
Kelly, thank you.
we're on a roll tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
It's a good way to go. It's a
Yeah,
good way
no
to
kidding.
start.
I hope you're liking the show. We're here all week. Brian, try the
Yes.
Ville.
Try the
You know,
bill.
let's do the show for a whole week. Let's just go straight up. Sorry to every other show that's on. No, we're not going to do that.
I do have the rim shot someplace, so we'll figure it out.
Okay. You know, before we get into much else, I want to publicly thank Brian for that sounded weird in my head. Thank you for last weekend. On BMR show when I had the God's helmet on, you were spot on, man. That whole with when Terry had it on and when I had it on, it was just amazing. And you know, I was feeling sensations on my left side. Brian was feeling it on his left side as well.
Yeah, literally had chills go in down the side. But on top of that, I knew it was family, and I got grandfather first, and then I couldn't, because all I saw of your dad,
Yeah.
I just saw that reassuring hand on the shoulder, but everything else was not like, it was like, I'm not here for you to see me. I'm here for him. And but you got to understand, like, I literally dialed into the emotions of that. It was so emotionally overwhelming, but in a great way. It's like you haven't seen your dad in 25 years, you know, or they pass away, and also you're seeing him again. That's the emotions. I started welling with tears, and then you said I'm tearing, almost in sync.
Oh yeah,
like it was insane night.
Yeah, I mean it was nuts. You know, my dad died in 17. And I don't even remember when my grandpa died. It was, I mean, he was sitting across the table from me that night, and that was just an amazing experience.
And
go ahead.
It was interesting because you sent me. I tried to describe this gentleman, and I saw his face, and it's unique. There's a structure to it that's unique. He's a nice size, average man, and sitting there, and he had the 5 o'clock shadow, but he also had this mustache thing going. And I'm like, that's how I saw him, but I knew who he was. He definitely looked older, but in a younger way. It's kind of hard to explain, but when you pass away, you have the option to present yourself to beings in different light. So family will see you in one way, someone that's doing paranormal stuff will see you in that public appearance way. You could appear younger to a significant other. That's how it works. And then Paul sent me a picture. I'm like, that's him. He was older, but I got him before he got that old.
Yeah.
And he was on the cusp of that. So,
and when he was younger, he was a stocky dude.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty sure he gave out a couple of good whoopings, if you weren't doing what you're supposed to do.
yeah. That was him. He never gave me a whooping.
Yeah.
But he was a good guy. And it was just an incredible experience. I can't wait to do it again.
And you're really fortunate though, because a lot of people don't have good encounters with the God's helmet.
Oh no.
So I mean, you got lucky there, Paul. And that don't mean your next time is going to be good. So don't get your hopes. You know what I mean? Don't
maybe I'll just leave it at that, and that'll be my first and only one.
And only. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's why before you start, I said, before you do this, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. I had you breathe in and to get a little bit more relaxed because I knew you were going to go on a ride. And for the most part, if they said stay with it for like 25 more minutes, I think you would have been there. And it was weird. I said, he's going to see the extraterrestrial, and you did see the tall gray extraterrestrial. So, I mean, it's who was, mind you, this being was looking at this because they inhabit the same space, where it's same vibration as all these people have passed away. Bigfoot, all the paranormal stuff is in a certain frequency. And he was just looking like, and just being an observer of all this was going on. Yeah. Mind you. So,
it was cool.
Yeah. That was incredible. That was incredible. Never going to forget that. Never going to forget that. So
that's a great experience.
Yes. Yes. Let's kind of get back to the book. How did you land on the celestial? This isn't your first book together, right?
It is our first book that we've written together, but not the first book that we've worked on together. Right. Bryan has formatted and done the artwork of probably a dozen of my books.
And then when he was doing his, I mean, it's a great book on fairies or on fairies. Was it on
That's
fairies?
Right.
I mean, we were discussing certain things because I had the chapters and I was giving my just 2 cents in there, which he did enjoy. I mean, I'm not taking writing credit, but we did have a couple of conversations which did help him to, he's like, oh, I like that. And then, he goes in. I mean, it's really weird. If there was a good writing team where like they used to write old episodes of TV or whatever, we can do it. You get the person that can actually type, and then you spitball back and forth to everybody. That's how Saturday Night Live is actually. If you want to know, when they write the show, it's a big table and everybody throws ideas out, and then eventually some of the writers that are there, kind of put it together. So, but Ron is a master writer. He's amazing.
And like Bryan said, I think that writing anything by committee is great, because an idea that he may have is something that I never thought about. But once he gives it to me, it kind of takes on a life of its own, and it's something I can pursue then. So we work very well that way together, because usually in writing is a very lonely, solitary act. And sometimes you can be so caught up in what you're writing, you kind of forget looking at the bigger picture. So you need that, that rather subjective point of view that looks at it and says, okay, this is going to work and this won't work. And I think that's just what refines everything and makes things work out so well. But yeah, this is our first book that we're working on as a team, as this, that we both came up with these ideas. We both did the research for it, and we both compiled it together. And that does take a long time, but I'm hoping that there's many more as well too. We had thought about working on a children's series, which I think would be awesome. But maybe we'll do that as well too.
Yeah, we have something in for children's series, and then we actually thought of a kind of like a monster type of thing as well. But it's just life gets in the way of everything you're doing.
Right.
And when this was happening, it was COVID. People are moving. People trying to survive. Unfortunately, people passing away. So, certain things when you're being hammered by third parties for whatever, all this fun with paranormal and cryptids and all, it goes out the door, because the bottom line is you got to deal with your emergencies first, you know.
Yeah.
Right. But and the other thing too about the world of the paranormal, and Brian said about having this network, and that is so very true, because you would think that everybody in this field would be a tight knit family because we're all studying something that's very marginal, anyways. But this is one of the most backstabbing ventures to get into, right? People are jockeying for position all the time. They want ideas, even if it's not their own. And I have had a lot of friends that I assumed were my friends vanish away whenever I was no more use to them, right?
Yep.
And I really, sometimes you get to the point and you say, is this really worth it? And possibly as we're having this conversation, probably by 2020, that was one of those times whenever you're thinking, all this stuff, crazy stuff is going on in the world. Do I even want to do this anymore? And what brings it back? And again, this is not blowing smoke, but it is people like you. It's people like, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. It's people like Tex. It's people like Anne Celine. It's people that are legitimately interested in this field of research from a very personal basis, right? And that's what keeps me going. Honest to goodness, it's people like you. It's people that go out to the festivals. It's people that come to the conferences, because this is not for the thin-skinned people. It's not. You can, people that you think are going to be your friends forever, soon turn out to be your enemies. So as I'm trying to wean myself out of all this negativity in the world, I have finally landed in this kind of golden area where I'm now attached to a lot of very genuine people. And that is the reason why I'm continuing on.
Yep, that's same here. Absolutely.
Yeah. And,
and they pit people against each other.
Right.
Oh, without a doubt.
If they want to get to you, they'll say, well, Brian said this.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't talk about anybody, and I'm not going to. I will not name names. I deal with it personally. I tried to deal with certain things at a conference a bunch of years ago. The person didn't want to pick up the phone, didn't want to answer the text. So I'm going to publicly out you, especially if you're stealing from me. My word is my bond. I'm only and that's how it should be. But I found with everybody involved in this network, and with Ron. Look, we had an issue. We had a snake or the devil whispering in the ear, and
without a doubt,
I got to thank his daughter, because his daughter was like, well, did he ever do anything? No. So he's a good guy. Yeah. She goes, well, what are you doing? He's a friend, and that really helped to ignite from the mouth of babes, right?
That's very true. Yeah. Yeah, because we were on a very popular show at one time, right? And it was one of those things where they talk about pitting people against people, right? And it this happens all the time in the world. And I thought for sure that I was going to be one of those people that was bigger than that, right? Like I would not succumb to that kind of stuff. But sometimes this sweet flattery that people whisper into your ear, you hear it so often that it becomes a truth in and of itself. And I almost lost a very dear friend in that. Until, as Brian said, my daughter just said, hey, you guys are friends. You got to get off over this childishness stuff. I think it was my daughter was about 10 years old at the time. And that really meant the world to me because, again, we were really in a position where we were getting big names in our podcast. We were having a very good following and everything. And the people that were actually hosting our podcast is the one that started the work behind the scenes. For whatever reason, I have no idea.
We were beating them at their own game.
Yeah,
exactly. But, why do that though?
Right.
So I didn't mean to interrupt you, Chris, but when your show is beating the flagship show, people get pissed off, especially if they're on the flagship.
See, that's what I don't understand. When we started, Brandy and I, we started doing this. It's we've made a lot of connections, but I'm all about like uplifting people and supporting my friends, not going against. And this is like this conference that we're doing we've been promoting it as, it's different genres, it's different people, leave your attitudes and your egos at the door. Let's all come in and let's all talk weird and get along, and that's what it's about,
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yep.
Yeah, but
I
that's
appreciate the shout out by Pamela too. I just want to give a quick thank you for that.
Yeah.
Right, and getting into the paranormal side of things, right? So if I don't want to get into the mathematics of it, but usually when you have a 9-year or you're at the 8-year, if you've done what you needed to do karmatically, you don't have to come back and reincarnate. You get your wings and you go. I'm at that point. The stuff that me personally have sucked up from other people, I'm like, it's not worth it. I'm not here to fight with you. Just live and let live, make love, not war. And I help out as many people. I don't ask for anything in return. And some people will say, you're an idiot. You should help. If I had $100 or $1 for everybody that I helped create their podcast and get them set up, I have a lot of money.
Right.
And
even with my book,
I'm just happy they're doing good. No, I'm not going to charge you. You know what? You get a big contract, and then you come to me for we're going to use Bryan. Then I'll charge you because you're not paying it, whatever.
Right.
But the whole thing is, it's not even. It's like you're doing stuff, and they don't even invite you on as a guest to say, "Hey,
perfect."
Or you get a guest for someone, and then they do something stupid, and we're not going to tell him, but we're going to go to his spot. Like, I put my name on that. Why would you're hurting me? But to not say, hey, thanks Bryan for getting Ron Murphy on the show. We appreciate it. It's that simple. It's stupidly simple.
Right.
It's a respect factor, and we need to start doing that more.
Yeah, I think that is the point. It is a respect factor, because if I would ever get somebody to say, "Hey, we want you to be on a show," and this has happened before, I always talk about Bryan as well too, because you want those people who you trust to surround you, because the more people that you have knowledgeable around you, the better you look. I mean, truly, that's might seem very Machiavellian, but that is absolutely true. And why wouldn't you want Bryan around you? Just because he knows what he's talking about, and it looks good whenever he's around you. So yeah, the idea of networking and helping your friends out, because that
money's
is the
in
thing.
the mail, Ron.
Yeah, but that is true, because look, we aren't getting rich off of these appearances.
40.
We don't get rich off of these appearances. We just, but we're there for each other, and that's the good thing. And I know that you guys would be there too. That's the reason why whenever you invited me to this festival, I said immediately, no matter if I had anything else scheduled, I was going to be here regardless. And to tell you the truth, there was something scheduled that I canceled deliberately to be with you guys, because I'd much rather be there with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Ron Murphy, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Ron Murphy. Ron will be here every Thursday. Try the veal. So
That's
I've
awesome.
never seen you guys do a public presentation, so I don't know what it's like. A conference. Oh wow.
Somebody's racing.
What was that?
In front of me. They're racing down the street
That's
here.
great.
I live in the middle of nowhere, and it's a straightaway.
Yep.
So cars do that all the time.
We have the spirit of drag racers.
You had horses on your show Thursday night. Now you got drag racers on tonight.
Right?
This is awesome.
But when I gotta tell you, he is very captivating. Ron's very captivating. I'm looking forward to seeing Rob and you guys do your thing publicly. Gets nerve-wracking when you get up there.
We're not speaking.
No.
Well, maybe you should. Maybe you should just go up there and tell a little anecdote
to speak.
Yeah, we're the ones that last night, it was funny because we had our meeting. We have a monthly meeting on the conference. So just to update everybody where everybody has little jobs, what they do, and we all come together and talk about it.
And
last night I informed everybody that, because I think it was Donny that said something about, about somebody cleaning bathrooms. I was like, you're looking at them. It's us.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Conference, we're the cleanup crew.
Yeah, it gets a little bit crazy, but I know both ends of the spectrum, and it's good to be on your end of the spectrum, both everybody there, but it's also fun to be and now coming up there, and then you present to everybody. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great event. And everybody's gonna have fun.
And if everybody that comes in and gets the tickets to the event leaves happy, that's all we care about. you know.
Yes.
Yep.
And I don't, with the lineup, I don't see how they won't be able to leave
Mhm.
happy. So I mean, it's it's going to be
Mhm.
fantastic.
Just want everybody to have a
And
good
Kenny
time.
Gearhart's going to be there. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Heather
Yeah.
Moser, who I've had a crush on for years, is going to be there.
I
So this
love
is great.
her too. Yes.
I just, she is just a good person. I worked with her very many times, and I really, like I said, whenever I saw this lineup, how would you not want to be involved in this?
right.
Yeah, she's
Right.
awesome. We actually on our show here, I think it's either next month or April, I don't know. But we have Heather and Lady Ann coming on together. So we're going to do like a little table thing. So that's going to be a fun show. I'm looking forward to that one.
The women of the paranormal.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Ron, you do the for those of you who might not know, on Small Town Monsters, you guys do UFOs Revisited.
Mhm.
On
We
Small
did.
Town.
We just actually wrapped that up. So I think you can stream all of them now on YouTube. And I think they're moving over to Tubi as well too. And I think you can even find them on Amazon. So I was very proud of that series. I also did Sasquatch Uncovered the Ridge with them for I believe it was 6 episodes for that. I also did the first American Werewolves, and then I did Lights in the Mist. I wrote a book for them that they published, and then the UAPs of the Woods was the movie that came out, directed by Tyler Hull. So yeah, I'm very proud of everything that I've done with Small Town Monsters as well too.
And
very
Small
supportive.
Town Monsters, you can't beat them. I mean, they put out some fantastic, like every time they come out, it's like, I watch the premieres, like, yeah,
I did too.
That's great.
Yeah, even before I was involved with that. Okay, so as the trolls say, the people that like to prowl about on chat rooms and stuff like that, people say that these are cheesy. They're riddled with all kinds of weird effects. My counter to that is, who else is putting this stuff out, right? Without Small Town Monsters, you would not have consistent documentation of paranormal encounters. And regardless whether they play around with these kind of quirky little VHS effects or whatever, that's beside the point. The basic nuts and bolts of what they're doing is they're taking experiencers' eyewitness testimony and putting this into a collection that we can go back and look at as an archive about what was going on at a particular time, in a particular place, revolving a particular paranormal experience.
Right. Yeah, they do fantastic work. And I watched the deal that I guess Seth put out the other day about, what they have coming up in 2025. And they really have a lot of good things coming up. So I'm looking forward.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just, they have actually grown from when they first came out, and they were doing that VHS type of magnetic, and it kind of gets a little bit annoying. And I said, you guys got to stop doing it, because I was at a conference with Ron. Seth was there. And I said, guys, just give them, I understand it if you want to try to do an 80s thing, but give them real video. Don't make it schlocky. And they've done a great job. I mean, I saw that the one that where Ron was, he was on a road by himself. They had eye shine, they caught it. And then they caught some of the other orbs on the road. I think that led to the Mist book.
It did. It led to my book and to the follow-up of the movie as well, too. The spin-off of the movie.
Right. Wow. And it's great evidence. And, it's so hard as a paranormal investigator or a cryptid investigator to get evidence. You'll go out 10 times, and if you're lucky, 1 in 10, you'll get something.
Right.
The rest of the time, you set up like 50 cameras. They're all videotaping for like 10 hours, and you've got to watch 50 cameras, 10 hours each, and then try to collect evidence. After a while, it's just like, whatever,
right?
Yeah.
So to respond to Bryan, I am at the point of view right now that I think anybody that gets an experience is gifted. I truly believe that. I believe that whatever you are experiencing, right, is allowing you the opportunity to have that connection, that particular place, in that particular time. There's no other way. Like, I don't think any of this stuff is happening by happenstance. I think that you, as a researcher, are afforded an opportunity for this very unique and personal revelation of what lies out there beyond the veil. I truly believe that.
I'm going to expand on that for a bit
Yeah.
because I've mentioned this numerous times, but well before this, for years. You know, everybody has their own, call it an electronic ID. It's like your cell phone. It identifies you as you.
Sure.
And that signal that comes off, because we're electronic beings, we have iron, we have currents, currents going through us, whatever. So what determines who you are and all the things about you that's seen is your aura. Okay. And they know, they can feel it when you're into this field for the right reasons, and you're compassionate and you want the answers. You're not joking around, you're taking it seriously. They know, they can feel it because you vibrate higher. And then they also can see it. When you go into the woods and you meet Bigfoot is there. When you have that interaction, like Ron says, they allow you to have that interaction. They test you, they see what kind of character you are, what kind of constitution you have.
Sure.
And they're like, this one's all right. He or she's not going to do X. And then they tap into you. And they know when you get even closer, you get within their field. So what Ron is saying is true. They know that when you and Brandy go out, they know you love this stuff and you're taking it seriously. Even Paul. And they're like, we're going to let them have an experience.
Right.
Versus we've all had them on investigations, the wise guys and, the ones that don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
You dead, and they make all these different.
Yeah. Or have bad intentions,
Yeah.
I think your intentions are everything also.
Right. I mean, like when we go, depending on where we are, when I do Bigfoot investigations, everybody is carrying firearms because other than Bigfoot, you have a lot of other predators out there that are going to try to hurt you. And when I go out there, we all have the right intention. We tell them, this isn't for you. This is for predators that consider us prey. And I have no problem. And I don't want to get to that point where I have to take out a big panther or, a mountain lion, whatever. But I said, if we have to do that, it is yours. We give it to you as a gift of good faith. And you'll be surprised when they like you, they keep that crap away from you.
Yeah.
Yep. I had somebody on who had an encounter one time where they were 10 feet from a Bigfoot, and he had his shotgun pointed at the Bigfoot, and I mean they almost were doing sign language to each other, and he eventually lowered his weapon, and there was a couple other Bigfoot away off to the side that he didn't see at the time, and they started to come around and come after him, and the one Bigfoot in front of him kind of made a noise like, no, this guy's good, go back, go away from him. Yeah.
I mean, come on. Again, you're in the woods and you see a 7-foot giant gorilla monkey. I mean, it's folks, it's massive. I'm 6'1" and I look like a pimple on the ass of a Bigfoot because they're huge and there's a presence, and you just look at it and that thing could take 2 fingers and just pull my arm right out.
Yep.
So they know the capability
out of the ground.
Oh yeah.
And all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Brandy and I had our Bigfoot encounters, so it was on the outside of my tent. So I seen like the shadow with the moonlight of it. And it was literally right behind my head. So I was kind of freaking out. I'm not going to lie. I sat up on my cot. I didn't want my head because it was right outside my tent. And Brandy actually got a visual. She was sleeping in her car. So, yeah.
I mean, I had this before the summer started. I was on the west coast of Florida. And we went on a Bigfoot investigation, and we had activity in the camp. And because I was just invited, I didn't open my mouth because I don't have the right to open my mouth. I'm being invited in by people. We hiked forever from 11:30 at night. We got back maybe at 5:45 in the morning, and it's It was like 99 degrees, 100% humidity.
Mm-hmm.
I was just, fellas, if I lay in my tent, because it was a low tent, I'm not getting up. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just going to sleep in my car. And I had a Bigfoot. It was like Jurassic Park. It started getting condensation on, and you saw that breathing on the outside. And my hand is on my gun, and I'm like, I was so tired. I'm like, you could watch me all you know what, big guy. I'm going to bed. But the next day, you know, that's how tired I was. When I got up, and I only slept for about 2 hours because my car, something with a new car is every 30 minutes. They're like, we're shutting you down in 30 minutes. So you got to go, and you go to sleep for 30, and then you're up and you're doing it again. So I'm like, I'm never getting to sleep here. But when I went outside to the other side of the car in the campsite, you know, that wood plank where they make a parking lot for you, you know, in the campsite. So there was maybe enough to slide through, you know, profile wise into the car. You couldn't get into the car from there. And on the ground with these huge knuckle prints, that sucker was leaned in and watching me sleep. And so, and he must have known, you know, I had a firearm, and he was like, you're new, you know. So, but my first encounter with Bigfoot was in Western Connecticut. And that thing, its head was in the window of my bunk, 3 feet by 3 foot window. Okay.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, that head was no more than 6 inches from my feet. And I froze there as a little, I didn't think Bigfoot was down there. So I just froze. But I mean, if it wanted to, it could have went, pull me right through. And I would have been like, oh, this is going to suck, you know. And he was at least 8 feet tall, because if you go outside where he was kind of hunched down, and he's peering in a window like a cat burglar, you know.
Yeah.
Who's up? But that was unnerving. Yes, 6 inches, no more than that.
Wow. Ron, what was your first experience with a Bigfoot?
Well, I've never experienced, so I'm still waiting to experience something out there, right? And that's one of the reasons why I write so much about these things, because I'm researching them, because I've had a lot of anecdotal things happen to me, but I've never had that one quintessential moment of that, you know, eureka, it's out there. So, you know, I've heard the wood knocks, I've heard the vocalizations, I've seen strange things like the earth lights and everything. So I've had a lot of paranormal experiences, but not that one moment where I say, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are out there. So that's why I'm still, you know, that's why I'm still out. The reason why I write so many books is because it exercises those demons that torment me. You know, something is out there, you know, can I get close to it? And not only can I get close to it, but can I really get to the origin of what substance it's made of? You know what I mean? Is this folklore? Is this myth? Is it something more? Is it a shared universal thought? You know, what the heck is this? So that's the reason why I continue searching until ultimately one day I'll have some sort of answer. But I also think, like, you know, with Chris and Bryan, I think the people that have had the experiences still do not have the definitive answer about what you saw, right? You still have no idea what's going on. Yeah.
Oh, you know, every big, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, even with ghost hunting and all the cryptids and all the weirds, the high strangeness, you have a certain set of ideas, questions, and you go into the situation, and then you have this Bigfoot that does something over here, here, and here, and you're like, oh my God, now you're like, that answered these two. Now I got 15 more questions. Right. So that's what it's like. But what Ron did have, because knowing him as well, you know, this subject was great to build the family. You know, you go out with your mom. I think you remember you saying all the time, they would like, they heard about Bigfoot in the woods. So, you know, mom was cool enough to go, let's go look for a Bigfoot. Yeah. How do you not remember that? Like, oh, my mom used to take us looking for Bigfoot, you know, and
and I think my kids as well too. And then what that does, it fosters a reverence for the woods more than you could possibly imagine. So my mother, whenever she took me out looking for Bigfoot as a kid, you know, we learned that there were other animals out there. We learned to appreciate nature in and of itself. We knew that it was very tenuous at best. So you have this bit of stewardship to the land as well too. So whenever I investigate the same area, because I live right in the shadow of the Chestnut Ridge, the same place I've been investigating since I've been a kid, you know, you have this kind of proprietary obligation to it. You know, this is really where I cut my teeth as a paranormal investigator, and I want to see it should still be that pristine condition that it is now. You know, I don't want to see garbage. I don't want to see any harm to come to the land. And I think whenever you look at, you know, Bigfoot, whatever, in that kind of vein, as if it belongs not to me, but to the natural world in and of itself. And then that world also belongs to everybody as well. Again, we talked about that interconnectivity at the very beginning of the show. So we come now full circle, that we're all somehow related to this field, whether you believe in it or not. Right. Their existence does not require you to believe in it, right? That doesn't make them go or under. Right, that's right. And if that being said, they are still part of this environment that we take for granted, that we will very quickly cut down to serve whatever purpose that we have. We exploit it, and we treat it as if it's you know, if it's garbage, you know. But this is the last stronghold for things that are trying to escape human grasp, right? And we need wild places. We need wild places because the wild places put us in our place. It strips us of this hubris that we have, and it allows things to still be free in a way that we can't control them.
Sure.
It also teaches you skills when you go out to, you know, kids, you know, there are so many people, like, I've never hunted. I lived in New York City. We didn't have a gun. My dad wasn't hunting, but I always wanted to go hunting to understand the process and how to clean and how to dress. And it's very important skill, believe it or not. But so that's coming. That's one of the bucket list things I'm going to do. You know, if I'm not going to kill what I'm not going to eat and whatever, I'll feed it to whatever. But something's very interesting that JoJo put in the chat, and it's reference to when I was talking about auras, and it's very important to understand that. So she says she sees auras in persons, and please don't let it bother you because they are forever changing. She is right. Your aura will change on a daily basis, even hourly. It's like a mood ring, okay? Because when you're having a bad day, it's noticeable. Your aura will, you know, the energy will change. When you're really feeling good and positive, it goes more golden and silver, okay? So, I mean, and one of the things, you know, when you do ghost hunting, if you're suffering from a cold or some kind of illness, or you're depressed, or you had a bad day at work, or it behooves you sometimes not to go on the investigation, because when your aura changes, it tells certain entities there is, oh, that door is open right there. I'm going in. So you got to be very, very careful about it. Otherwise, you're going to take some stuff home. And if you're married, your spouse is going to be pissed.
Yep. And you become, instead of, you know, trying to help someone, you become the victim, you know?
Right.
Yep. True story.
So, I just saw the comment. I just wanted to mention it because it's important to grasp.
Sure.
You know, we all can't be rainbow and sunshine every day.
Right.
That wouldn't be fun. I mean,
no, it wouldn't.
No.
But if you threw rum in there.
You know, you talked about hunting, and I've been hunting, but people don't like to go with me. And it's not my thing, but it's been a long time since I've been. But number one, I can't sit still. Like, you know, and people that I go with, like, they're diehard hunters, and they end up getting mad at me. Or like, I clear my throat because, you know, I used to be a smoker. So at the time I was smoking, you know, and be like, man, I want a cigarette, you know, and this just, you know, you can't do any of that while you're hunting. So
that's one of the reasons I don't like fishing, because I just can't sit there on a boat or a dock or wherever and just not do anything. I got to get up moving around. And
you know, when here in Missouri, when like deer season is, you know, it's fall. So there's leaves on the ground, and God forbid if you move and you crinkle a leaf and a deer hears, you know, like
they get pissed.
Yeah.
People that are hunters, they get pissed. Like, I had a 10-pointer and you screwed
my ex-husband was a diehard hunter, and he was to the point, he's like, don't you put on deodorant this morning? I'm like, well, don't you put on deodorant, but I'm wearing deodorant. Thank you. You know.
Well, speaking of which, there's a lot of times that I've gone out. We bring females on our investigations, especially cryptid for Bigfoot, and we explain to them, and they know if you've been doing it long enough, they're like, because Bigfoot, male Bigfoot or male Bigfoot. It's just there's no difference between a male Bigfoot than a male that you're going to meet, ladies, and whatever. And when they're doing their thing, and they're like, "Oh, there's three guys," and they just start peering around the corner. I'm like, "Who's that?" And then they're playing Dreamweaver in the background. But that's where some of the time it's good when the scent. Because they love the smell of ladies. Ladies smell good. Ladies always smell good. I mean, you guys start young. I know. I've got two of them. My 13-year-old's like, smell this, and I'm like, oh my god! If I smell another Bed Bath and Body Works type of product, it's like walking into the the Yankee Candle Factory. Yeah. It's just like, oh my god, get me out of here.
Right.
But sometimes it is good to have a scent. But yeah, I couldn't. I could not sit there. I'd be telling jokes. We would not be catching anything at that point.
Yeah.
How did I become Sir? Oh, I'm a Knights Templar, and I became a Knights Templar through an organization. So I was knighted and go through a whole ritual and blah blah blah. Cool. That's where the Sir comes from. That?
Somebody asked.
I got chat there, so I'm just gonna. I didn't mean to do that. I just saw the question. I can't really type too fast. I need Ron. Like, Ron, can you type this?
Send your answer to Ron, and he'll type.
Well, it's really tough because for some reason my good microphone bowed out on me, and my stuff's up here, like on this ledge. It just, it's not going to work.
Yeah, Ron. Actually, we do have a question for you in here. Yes. What do you think about the scientific approach, and what do you think they could do better?
Well, I think so. I've got a lot of ridicule about this as well too, because I do like to apply the scientific approach. Because if we are going to be taken seriously in the eyes of mainstream academia, we have to employ something that will be verifiable and be able to be repeated as well too. But that's the problem. So whenever you're dealing with the paranormal or the metaphysical, it lies beyond the framework of what we know in physics and what we know in our reality. Hence the para. It's very like these things, but it's not what we would expect. So even if you apply the scientific method, that doesn't mean that the target that you're looking for operates within that schema, right? But I think that whenever we go out, things as simple as taking track measurements and seeing how that they fit into this, in statistics, there's actually a bell-shaped curve whenever it comes to all this stuff. Whenever it comes to Bigfoot sightings, locations, time of the year, the size of a Bigfoot, the size of the footprints. If this stuff was all made up, then it would be all over the place. But actually, there is that bell-shaped curve that is what you would expect to be there in the scientific world, right? Because it shows that there's there's a mean, there's the things that lie outside of the parameters and things that lie below that as well too. But there's also that average that is so important as well. Sure. The problem with the scientific method, again, it comes back to, sounds like a lot of tree hugging going on. But if we are able to definitively prove the existence of these creatures by the scientific method, right? And the only way to do that is by putting them down onto a table and eviscerating them. That's the only way science is really happy. They want to study the insides. They want to get DNA. They want to be able to grab this dead, lifeless creature and decide for themselves how they're going to classify it and everything. Once that happens, the magic and the mystique of what these things are is now suddenly gone. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, I think that if Bigfoot is ever proven scientifically to be out there, that would probably be one of the saddest days, because at that point then people will be seeing them all the time because now we know they're out there, right? So what we consider like seeing a shadow or something fleetingly cross the road, now people will automatically say, we see them all the time, and they'll shoot them, and they'll do all kinds of bad things that people like to do. And at that point, that which we feared has now become extinct by our own hands. And that has happened with so many species throughout the world. So if Bigfoot is a flesh and blood animal, I hope it forever stays in the shadows and, you know, looking down from the mountaintop at these little twinkling lights of our cities. And I hope that he never ventures close enough to be taken by us. I really hope that never happens.
I mean, I did study the sciences, so I studied physics and astronomy, and I was thinking that. So I do try to employ some kind of scientific method, you know, repeatable. The problem is you can't repeat it. You just can't. It's not, you know, you may have a gifting site for something and you just can't repeat the same thing over and over again. They're not, you know, they're not like your trained dog, sit, stay, roll over. They are its own essence and being. I thoroughly believe that there are people in the government that actually have these creatures, and they've been experimenting and trying to figure out how they can change their appearance and the camouflage. You know, there's always military applications. Here's why I don't think we'll ever publicly state that Bigfoot exists. It'll always be speculation. Do you know how much money the logging industry brings in? Do you know how much money the national park system brings in? The minute you say Bigfoot is real and you put it out there, there'll be some special interest group. I'm not for killing Bigfoot. If you're getting attacked, totally different story. And then no one will be able to go into the woods. So that what Ron was like talking about earlier about going in there, you know, exploring the woods, kind of getting a little bit to your roots, you won't be able to do it because you can't go into their habitat.
Right.
So, you know, one day I think it'll come around where it'll just have enough sight. They're losing their own areas to go to. We keep building and building and building. You look at a Bigfoot map, like I'm in Florida. Literally, I'm going to use lights because blocks in Florida can go on for miles. So, you know, like, but there's about 2 lights away from where I live. It was a Bigfoot sighting right there in 1975. That's before they put in the shopping center, the lights. It was all woods. So, you know, the more we expand, the more we blow up our communities, the less spaces Bigfoot has to go. You know?
Yeah, it's sad that the forest system is going away so much. I mean, I can remember when I was a kid driving by where I live right now, and it was all woods. And it's just sad. I wanted to ask you guys. We got about 15 minutes left. I was just finishing up watching a documentary series on Netflix from George Knapp. Talking about extraterrestrials and everything. And pretty much the last thing that was said on there, and I've heard this before, is that his belief, I don't even know if I can say his belief, but one of the things they said was, could extraterrestrials be us in the future, coming back to warn us about things? What do you guys think of that?
You want to go first?
From the encounters that I've had, so when we talk about experiences, I think that if you would, you know, take a poll, I think the majority of people will say without a doubt that ghosts exist, right? I think we've all had some sort of personal experience with a ghost to think, yeah, right, you know, I think that they are real. I was on a ghost hunt at a place called Hillview Manor, which is kind of an iconic site here in Western Pennsylvania, and I was with my daughter. And, you know, through the spirit box, I heard things, maybe like what you had heard too, Paul, or saw. It sounded as if my child's voice was coming through the spirit box, as if he was talking to me outside of our reality, right? If it's as if he was occupying a different time and space. So, and science has already kind of talked about this as well too, that time doesn't exist, right? There's no such thing as linear time. It's kind of like this glob. And maybe whenever we talk about ghosts and we're talking about extraterrestrials, maybe they belong to this space in between spaces, if that makes any sense. If as if they're always out there in our past, in our future, in our presence, sometimes coalesces into these experiences, right? So, it's very possible, and this gives me goosebumps, to think that you might be in a situation where you're asking for some sort of proof, whether it be the Knox or something, and your future self is actually there doing the investigation as well, and you're responding to yourself with out of that time zone. You know what I mean? Like out of that time loop, as if you're occupying the same space at the same time, and that what you think is a ghost is actually you in the future or in the present, occupying that same time frame. Now, I'm sure Bryan will talk about this much more eloquently than I will.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but
I want to cut you
from
off.
my experience, that's what it seems. As it seems that sometimes these ghosts seem so omniscient that they have some sort of knowledge of you that may only be able to come from you. So you are now actively a part of that haunting.
Very interesting.
So, when he was saying that, his other self in another timeline, I thought of this company that I came up with. It's ridiculous. It's the thank you card for the thank you card. So you're constantly, you get a thank you card and then you give a thank you card for the thank you card, but then you get another thank you card. It never ends, right? So that's what it's like. I think it was 64 dimensions were mentioned, that light exists and energy exists in 64 dimensions. Guess what? So do you. Okay? So do you. There are multiple. This is the beginning of quantum reality. And when we realize this, that we can interact with ourselves. Like right now, there's a Paul and a Krista and a Ron and a Bryan doing the same show, but we may be the evil versions. And then there's the comical versions. Then there's the darker skin colored versions, or it gets crazy. So I've interviewed people. I've talked to people about extraterrestrials coming into their life, aliens. Okay. It's not just the Greys. Some do say that they interacted with a being on the craft who said, I am your future. I am a human. I'm your future. And I've evolved into this because of X, Y, and Z. But they never got the full X, Y, and Z, or it wasn't allowed to memorize it or keep it, retain it. That is totally possible. But the majority of other, sightings or these creatures, they did what we are doing right now. We're destroying ourselves. We're destroying our environment. I'm not going to go hug a tree later. I want my carbon footprint visible from space, to be honest, because Mother Nature will always figure out a way to heal herself. But, we're cutting down trees. We're, taking medicine. The human body and the DNA has changed over time due to, certain diseases that were unlocked. So they did this to themselves. Their races are gone. They are what's left. And if you're old enough, think Battlestar Galactica, a ragtag team of beings looking for Earth. Well, they're looking to Earth because we have a healthy basis with a foundation to build other races off of. We have the right components in there. So it's kind of like having, what is it? When you make bread, you have the mother, right? You have the mother, and the mother can be hundreds of years old. My great grandmother started this mother, and it's a yeast mother. And then what you do is you take a little bit off, you put a little bit in, take a little bit, and you carry this. That's what they're doing with our DNA. So, I mean, Yeah, if they're so advanced and we're from your future, you got to prove it more so. You'd have to contact one of us here or somebody in this chat
Mhm.
and really prove it for me to kind of like say, okay,
Right.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't as eloquent as you, Ron.
No, that was awesome. Oh, great insight.
I'd like to
What-
go with Paul Lynn for the block. Oh, sorry.
One of the things that I was thinking of when I heard that was you don't want to go back in time and change how you were created, if that makes sense. And
Well,
and
yeah,
go ahead.
if you're gonna prevent them from doing something, now I got to skirt around this because I don't want to get you in trouble. But over
appreciate
a
that.
bunch of years back, something was taking place and something was given,
Mhm.
and a lot of the children that were born had just black eyes and a blank. They looked soulless. Do you ever remember seeing babies like this?
Mhm.
I'm not kidding you. They were intelligent. They just had all black eyes and they're just staring. It didn't even look human. And it
Wow.
did remind me of a couple of stories, that leaked through government agencies in certain areas, that this is how it started. It started with them playing around with the gene pool,
Mm-hmm.
and then it blew up, and then them forcing people on it, and they lose control of the situation. So is it plausible? Well, after seeing those kids,
Sure.
it's very plausible, and it's scary because I know what, when you see a kid a child born that doesn't look like that, there's a light in the eyes of most people. And a lot of these beings, if there are future, I may not want to see that future. There's no light in those eyes. It really looks like, wow, it's got to be terrible up there. Like maybe that's why a couple of them are coming back going, don't put that in your body. Don't do that. Eat more black seed oil,
Vegetables, eat vegetables.
eat your vegetables.
Yeah.
Read Ron Murphy's books.
Watch Brian's podcasts.
Yeah, well, I only have one, but yeah. Thanks, Dave Scott.
Guy, this has been an incredible show.
Been fun.
Having you guys on is just I appreciate it. I mean, I
It
got
was
a
fun.
few comments on it that was awesome. People loved it, and I can't thank you guys enough for coming on here tonight. Real quick, Brian, where can we find you?
Truck stops. No. I'm on
A hugging post somewhere in mid-America.
hugging at truck stops. Third Eye Live Wednesdays, 8 p.m. till 9 or to 10 Eastern. And coming up this coming week is a great, amazing psychic, John Russell. He's going to be there. I'm on Facebook. I'm on wherever. I will answer whatever questions you have if you have concerns. I usually help everybody. And that's how you get in touch with me.
Yep.
Ron?
Facebook as well too. Ron Murphy. You can catch my stuff on YouTube with Small Town Monsters. Catch some of Brian and I's backlogs from Inside the Goblin Universe on YouTube as well. Yep, that's true.
Yep.
And then I have a website too. Crypto Guru Ron is my website, so you can check out where I'll be appearing there and stuff like that as well too.
Awesome.
No OnlyFans page?
Oh, you know what? I gotta do more content.
We'll get it at the conference, right?
That's right. If you want to do content with Ron Murphy,
sign this waiver, please.
So guys,
right,
if you want to
that's
see
right.
that at the conference, get your tickets for that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Great with Ron. Yeah.
No, you guys are awesome.
I'm so
be so
looking
much fun.
forward to
I
it.
cannot wait.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to it because I watch you guys, Paul, Krista, all of them, BMR, Tex, and everybody. And one, it's great to actually finally meet people in person that we talk, we chat. But I hope a lot of these, people in chat and whatever you call them, paranormal heads or whatever. I don't call them anything. I just call them people, good people.
Yeah.
I want to meet some of the fans too that, like they say such nice things about me. And I am a nice person. I'm a good person. I can be nice, but I can also be not so nice. But in general, and I love that because they give so much to everybody, you guys and everybody, on the show. And it's just be really nice to just say, hey, how are you? It's finally good to see who JoJo really is.
Yeah.
You see these little photos.
Yeah.
It's like a bad Chips episode.
Right.
Whatever.
It was funny when we first did our first conference, people come up and tell you their real name. I was like, don't tell me that. Tell me what you are on YouTube. Then I know who you are.
Unless I'm getting married again, you don't need to tell me what your real name is.
I mean, that's really the one of the big things that I want to. I mean, I can't wait to meet, if Freaky's there, or I know Amy Creel's going to be there. I mean, you spend so much time with these people in chat, and this chat and every other chat, and meeting people on the screen is nice. I like this, but it's
better in person.
Exactly.
It's so much better in person when you meet them.
So, and get your tickets now, and you'll get a hug too.
You'll get a hug.
Yes.
And guys, if you want something else to watch, 3 minutes. Donny Cho says stuff. Head over there.
Oh, that's
real quick. Real quick. Who do you guys like tomorrow in the Super Bowl?
Kansas City.
Ron?
I'm going to go with Philadelphia 17-28. I think Saquon Barkley will have a runaway game.
Okay. It doesn't matter what happens, whether Philly wins or lose. The whole city will be on fire by the end of the night.
That is true.
Oh, sure. It's only on fire now.
That is true.
Oh, there you go. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah. Right. I just hope they have fun. No. I think I said Philadelphia, what did I say, 42-31, something like that. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
A big high-scoring game, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see. We'll
anyway,
see.
guys, I appreciate you all for coming in here tonight with us. Real quick, let's thank T-Bone for gifting 5, Scott for gifting 5, JoJo from Down Under for the super sticker. Thank you. Josh Casto for being here for 4 months, my original member, and then gifting 5. That's awesome. Then Kelly Sandiford, thank you for gifting 5. And the lovely Amy Creel for $10. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate you all. And, again, everybody head on over to Donny Cho.
And then 10 p.m. we have BMR too tonight.
10 p.m. BMR. We got a busy night. Busy night, guys. So anyway, Ron and Bryan, thank you guys so much for coming on. I very, very much appreciated, and I'm trying to get to the right button. And then where am I at? Here it is. All right.
See you guys,
everybody. Thank you guys.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.